Hey, it's Marvolo and welcome back to my channel. When I posted up my video on PTFE tape, a lot of you asked me if I thought bondage tape would be safe to stretch with, so I've been doing some research. Since I won't be using PTFE tape to stretch or tapers, I've been pretty curious as well. Unfortunately, I had to sift through a lot of porn and fetish websites to find any information, and the information that I did find was very limited. I'm not very happy with what I was able to find, and that honestly is just so frustrating that I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I'm not going to be using bondage tape to stretch, but I'll let you know what I have figured out so that you can make a decision for yourself. If you do have any information on this subject that I haven't included, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I am by no means an expert on this subject. The number one concern with bondage tape is knowing what your tape is made from. There are two main types of materials used in making bondage tape. The first is latex, and it used to be more common, but is not very commonly used anymore. Still, it's important to check, especially if you have a latex allergy. Also, it's important to note, in case you are vegan, that latex is not vegan, as it can often contain milk proteins. Also, if you are lactose intolerant and have an extremely sensitive body, you might have an adverse reaction to latex because of that. PVC is often used as a latex alternative, and it is made primarily from cotton and rubber, so pretty much man-made or man-altered materials. There is almost no information out there on latex bondage tape or latex-based adhesives because they just don't seem that popular anymore. I couldn't find any MSDS sheets on any type of bondage tape either. All of my searches looking for any sort of safety regulations on bondage tapes just took me to either some Asian distributor sites for bondage tape, or it would take me to just like a porn site. I was, however, able to find an MSDS sheet on latex-based adhesives, and that is not even exactly the same thing. I just figured it was as close as I was going to find without sifting through hours and hours of porn. I can only sift through porn for so long before no. It's too distracting. Anyways, the MSDS sheet I read on latex-based adhesives said that they had a very low toxicity rating, but it also said that you should wash any area of the skin that comes into contact with that product. For PVC tape, I was able to find a little bit more information, but not anything specific to bondage tape. PVC tape is used for a number of different reasons, just like PTFE tape. In fact, they're used for a lot of very similar things. Like PTFE tape, these tapes also say that you should wear gloves when handling them, you should wash the skin after coming into contact with them. The MSDS sheet said that PVC tape can cause irritations and abrasions on the skin, especially after continued use. Now, as these MSDS sheets weren't specific to bondage tape, I can only hope that perhaps bondage tape is formulated in a way that is more safe for the skin, and that it is more safely and more carefully regulated than these PTFE PVC tape things. Bondage tape is intended to be used on the skin, so I would hope that it wouldn't cause these same irritations that PVC tape can cause. I would hope that they've taken some sort of precaution, but I have seen no evidence of this anywhere. If you can point me to some sort of place where I can find this information, I would be very, very happy, but like I said, I had no luck in finding it. So will I be using bondage tape? As I said at the beginning, no, I will not be using bondage tape. I know how sensitive my skin can be, and with these risks and lack of accurate information, I just don't want to take that sort of risk. This doesn't rule out taping altogether for me, but I'm running low on options. There are varieties of tapes that have surgical uses, and some of these are even PVC and PTFE tapes, but they are just more carefully monitored to make sure there are no dangerous toxins in them. If I could find some sort of a tape that is approved by doctors and that is capable of being used in surgery, I think that is the kind of thing you're going to want to be using to stretch your ears. The versions of PTFE tape, PVC tape, bondage tape, these sorts of things that we're finding in stores are not up to a surgical standard, so you've got to take that into account, that if you want to get something at that high quality where you know for sure it's not going to have any toxicity to it, you're going to probably have to order online and pay a bit more money, but in the long run it will be worth it. So I'm going to continue to look for a tape that can be considered safe, but until then I think I'm just going to get some heavier double-flared stone plugs and give my ears a couple weeks before I try to stretch again. At this point, I'm just not sure if taping is a good idea at all, but I'm going to keep looking because there might be something out there that will work for me. Thank you all for sticking in there with me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated for when I make my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.